We meet Beth, who has lost her husband Owen, and finds a letter written by him and decides not to read it. She keeps it away and watches her old wedding video as she misses Owen and feels sad about it. At night she cries for Owen but suddenly hears a knock on the door and goes down to check it. She finds no one, but we see a reflection of someone in glass, and next morning she gets ready and leaves for work. Outside, she closes a door and notices some footprints in mud coming towards her house. She follows the footprints and sees a boat and remembers something and leaves for her job. Beth is a teacher at school and meets her friend Claire, who tells she could have taken some time off. Beth says she needed to grade the class papers and needed a distraction and hence came to work. Later, Beth looks at a website to sell her house, but suddenly feels sleepy and sees she slept for 45 minutes. She sees computer is showing gun website and a parent comes to meet her and who is not happy with the C grade her son got. Beth checks and tells her son didn't submit the assignment on time, but her mom says Beth wasn't present when he wanted to. Beth says her husband Owen shot himself and died that day, and that's why she was absent. Owen took a boat and shot himself in the mouth with a gun which Beth didn't know about. The mother apologizes and Beth says she will give her son A or B grade, whatever she wants. The mother feels sorry and leaves from there, and we see Beth is angry on Owen for dying like this. At her home, she meets her neighbor Mel, who says he has covered the boat used by Owen and can sell it if Beth wants. Beth says she will sell the house with the boat as she feels lonely here without Owen. We see Owen had built this house, and Beth watches an old video and feels angry and decides to pack his stuff. She packs his clothes and accessories and finds a book, which was the blueprint of their house. She looks at all drawings and finds that Owen had made 2 pictures of their house and floor plan. Both pictures were reverse of each other, and Beth feels confused seeing this and goes to sleep. At night, suddenly the radio starts playing, and Beth gets up scared to see a message from Owen. She messages back asking who this is and gets a reply to come down, and Beth tries calling Owen. Someone answers the phone and asks Beth to look out the window, and she sees Owen standing naked in the water. She wakes up and checks her phone but sees no message from Owen and goes to her car and finds Owen's phone. His phone also does not show any sent messages, and Beth checks his photo gallery and notices a side picture of a woman. Claire tells her the picture is of Beth, but Beth says she does not have a shirt like this, and it's not her. Claire tells her to stop overthinking even if the picture is not of Beth, and says Owen loved Beth. She says Beth can't ask Owen now and should not think much about this, and asks her to come for drinks after work. Later, Beth tells everyone that there is a ghost in her house, and she thinks someone is watching her. Her friends don't believe her. Beth thinks she is sleepwalking, and her friends ask if Owen left a note. She reads the letter which says Beth was right. There is nothing is after her, and she is safe now. She doesn't know what it means and wants to find out, and Claire tells her it's time to go home. Her friends look worried, and Claire takes Beth home and says she is worried about her staying alone. Beth says when she was 17, she was involved in a car accident and her heart stopped for 4 minutes. In those 4 minutes, she felt she was in a tunnel and saw nothing, and only Owen knows about this. She says maybe the letter was a clue by Owen saying she was right that there is nothing after death. Beth sleeps talking to Claire about this, but is suddenly woken up with a loud noise and gets scared. She sees Claire is not there, and a voice tells her to open the door, but she finds no one is there. She notices some women running and jumping in the water, and the voice tells Beth to go to the boat. She goes to the boat and sees Owen's blood on it and notices some footprints near the boat. She asks if Owen is here, and the footprints come close to her and touch her, and she is taken on the boat. The boat crosses the river, and Beth wakes up to see she is on other side and sees a replica of her house. She is confused and sees different women in the house, and Owen is also there arguing with one woman. She finds the key and goes inside to see herself sleeping, and wakes up from her dream shocked. She sees her door is open and decides to look at the photos from Owen's phone in her laptop. She finds the photo from before and also finds a hidden folder in the phone which has photos of women she saw in the dream. All the women look like Beth, and she is scared and decides to find the house from her dream. She goes to the forest and meets Mel and asks him if he has seen a house nearby, but he says no. Mel is worried for her and invites her for lunch, but Beth decides to find the house and goes away. After some time, she finds the house but sees it is not complete and goes inside and finds it looks same. She goes upstairs and finds a weird-looking statue and goes to meet Mel and asks him about the house. Mel says one night he met Owen with a woman in the forest like he met Beth today. Owen asked him to keep it a secret from Beth and told Mel he had urges in past, but now he has changed. Mel never saw Owen again with anyone and believed he had changed and wasn't cheating on Beth. Beth is shocked to hear this, and Mel asks her to forget about Owen and move on in her life. Beth comes home and angrily goes through Owen's stuff and finds a book in a box. The book has the photo of the statue she found, and it talks about spells and dark forces. She finds the book was purchased from a local store and is angry on Owen for keeping so many secrets. She searches the bookstore online and sees it is nearby and suddenly hears someone walking above. She goes up and sees an invisible figure and gets scared, and next day goes to the bookshop. She sees the same girl from Owen's picture and meets her and comes to know her name is Madeline. Beth asks her about Owen and the photos of her and tells her Owen committed suicide. Madeline is shocked to hear this and says Owen only flirted with her and she didn't sleep with him. Beth asks her to untie her hair and sees Madeline looks similar to her and tells Claire about this. She tells she believes Madeline but cannot understand why Owen had so many pictures of different girls on his phone. Claire asks her to stop her investigation and it will not lead to anything, and Beth says she needs to find what secret life Owen had. She tells Claire about the other house and says she felt Owen's presence, and Claire asks to live her life instead of thinking about all this. Beth goes home and tells the ghost she is leaving tonight and if he has any message he should give it now. Suddenly Beth hears someone knock downstairs and she opens the door to see Madeline. She tells Beth she has been in this house before and had a dream about Beth and decided to meet her. She tells one afternoon Owen came to meet her and invited her to this house, and then they had drinks. After that Owen took her to the other house and asked her to hold the statue, and then he hugged her. After that they kissed each other, and Owen tried to press her neck and Madeline asked him to stop. Later Owen apologized for his behavior and took Madeline to her home and said he can now control his urges. Madeline thought Owen was confused and thought he was feeling guilty of cheating on Beth. Madeline leaves after telling this, and Beth decides to go back to the other house. Inside, he tells Owen to come and talk to her and tells she won't leave until he does this. Suddenly the floorboard breaks and Beth discovers dead bodies of many women below the floor. She gets scared and runs back home and leaves Claire a voice message saying she should have left and listened to her. She cannot believe her husband could be a serial killer, and suddenly the radio starts playing music. She tells Owen to stop this and come talk to her and cries saying she misses him very much. She sees a message on the mirror to come here and sees invisible footprints on the floor which are wet. She touches the ghost and hugs it happily and feels its presence and calls him Owen. The ghost says he is not Owen, and Beth gets scared, and we come to know Beth was talking to some other ghost thinking it is Owen. She tries to leave, but the ghost closes the door, and she sees in mirror how Owen killed a woman. The ghost grabs Beth and hits her head in the mirror, and Beth realizes she is in the other house. She sees how Owen killed different women here and tied them up, and the ghost was watching him. Suddenly the ghost pulls Beth and throws her down the stairs, and she watches Owen seduce and kill women. She meets the ghost who has taken Owen's form and tells her he is nothing. He met Beth when she almost died in the accident and has been with her since that day. Nothing says he met Owen and asked him to give him Beth, but Owen refused. Owen tricked him and used the statue to scent similar-looking women like Beth and fooled Nothing. Beth understands how Owen had been protecting her and sacrificing other women to Nothing. She tries to run, but Nothing catches her and lifts her up and chokes her and bends her body like the statue. Next morning, Claire comes and sees the house is a mess, and Mel hears her asking for help. Nothing has taken Beth to his dimension, and she sees how Owen killed himself and wrote the letter. Claire notices the gun is gone and sees Beth sitting in the boat alone in the river in a sleep-like state. Nothing tells Beth to kill herself and join him and gives her the gun and says Beth belongs to him. Claire and Mel rush towards the boat to stop Beth, and nothing tells Beth to come back to him. Beth decides to not shoot herself, and Claire swims to her and saves her, and they both swim to the shore. Claire hugs Beth for saving her, and Mel sees Beth looking at the boat and says there is nothing there, and Beth says, "I know."